How to stop losing hair transplant patients and start getting 30 extra surgeries per month. I'm going to explain in this video. So number one is to build a bulletproof lead management system. So every inquiry needs to be captured, organized, and actively moved through your pipeline rather than just sitting in your inbox or in WhatsApp chat. So centralize every lead into one CRM, define clear pipeline stages from inquiry to surgery, and assign ownership of every patient. So one person is in charge of every patient. So you're not mixing up the ownership of the patients, and then set response time standards. So the amount of time it takes to reply to an inquiry, there should be a set standardized time, and track every lead until they book, convert, or are formally lost. Not just lost in the CRM, but they are actually lost because they're no longer going to buy. So you need to track every lead either till they book, till they convert, or till they're formally lost. And number two is to strengthen lead follow-up and reactivation. So a huge amount of revenue is sitting inside old inquiries that were never properly followed up with. Build a system that continuously brings undecided, unresponsive, and previously lost patients back into the conversation. Create structured follow-up campaigns, segment leads based on their reason for not booking, and reactivate old dormant inquiries every day, and create dedicated processes for missed calls and unanswered messages. So when people don't answer the phone, you know exactly how to deal with them, and then track the follow-up performance and recovered patients. So you want to look at people who have not bought from you, people who are undecided, people who are unresponsive, and you need to have a follow-up system that basically deals with these people. Because it's very easy to have a CRM or a follow-up system for people who are interested, because you always send them messages, they always reply. But it's much more difficult to have a follow-up system that's designed for taking people who are unresponsive and getting them to reply, getting them to respond, and actually turning those people into surgeries. That's a lot more difficult, but it can be done. But it needs to be built into your business in the right way. Number three is improve qualification and patient assessment. Stop treating every inquiry like it's the same. The clinic needs a stronger process for identifying serious buyers, suitable patients, and moving them quickly towards the appropriate consultation and treatment pathway. So what this basically means is you need to do things the right way by standardized patient qualification criteria. So the way you qualify your patients should be done in the right way, so everyone is meeting a certain standard, and improve collection of medical and hair loss information, and create a consistent photo assessment process. So this process is the same every single time, it's the same person assessing it, and establish clear clinical assessment stages, and prioritize high intent and surgery ready patients. So you want to create, let me add here, two lists. Okay, one for high intent buyers and one for researchers slash shoppers. So there's people who are going to be very interested in buying, and then people who are just researching, and you need to have them in two different lists so that your coordinators and the people who manage your inquiries can actually tell the difference between someone who is genuinely interested and someone who is just researching and looking for costs and shopping around. And you need to have two lists for that. You need to deal with these people in very different ways. They both require patience, they both require education, they both require getting more buy-in, building trust. They require all of these things. And you can't rush someone to pay a deposit. You can't rush someone to book a consultation. It all has to be done with patience, okay? And that's the way to do it. So number four is to optimize the consultation to deposit process. So getting someone to inquire or attend a consultation isn't the objective. The objective is moving suitable patients confidently towards booking. The entire conversation experience needs to be examined for friction. So how much friction do you have in your conversation? And needs to be examined also for uncertainty and missed opportunities. So in your conversation, you're going to find people who run into friction in the conversation, uncertainty, doubt, and this turns into missed opportunities. So you want to standardize the consultation journey so people get onto the consultation almost the same way every single time, and strengthen the objection handling. So when people have objections, you know exactly what to say to respond. And also you want to improve presentation of treatment options and make pricing and inclusions completely transparent so people understand exactly what they're paying, so they are more trustworthy with you, and create a stronger deposit and booking process. So sometimes you're often chasing people for deposit, you're trying to get people to book, you're trying to get people to pay the deposit, and a lot of the time it's just done by chasing them up with emails or with WhatsApp messages. But you need to change things up. You need to use videos, you need to use WhatsApp, you need to use email, SMS, phone call, you need to use different sorts of things, and this is going to help you much more. Next is to reduce cancellations, no-shows, and drop-off. Patients can disappear even after saying yes. The clinic needs to treat the period between booking and a surgery as a critical part of the conversion process, rather than assuming the patient is secured. So just because someone says yes doesn't mean they're going to buy, doesn't mean they're going to fly over to, if you're in Turkey, for example, they're not going to fly over to Turkey and have a hair transplant, even if they said yes on the consultation, maybe even if they paid the deposit, right? Because ultimately, it all only matters about the person getting there. And this period between the booking and the surgery, you need to take extra care and give extra focus to this area, because this is where you turn the person from just a person into an actual patient. So you want to introduce stronger appointment confirmation. So you can use phone calls or SMS or email. You want to create dedicated no-show recovery process. So if someone doesn't show up to a consultation, you need to have a very effective way of dealing with those scenarios when people don't show up to the consultation. Okay, so identify patients showing signs of hesitation. So if someone is hesitating, you need to know why they're hesitating, and you also need to what's the word I'm looking for? You also need to understand how to negotiate with them to reduce their doubt. And next is to analyze cancellation and postponement reasons. So if someone cancels or they postpone, you need to look at the reason why and see if there's any way you can help them. Also, you need to build structured pre-surgery patient engagement. Okay. Number 6 is to create clear ownership across the patient journey. Patients should fall between sales, medical, reception, finance, and operations, because shouldn't fall between sales, medical, reception, blah, 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 because nobody knows who owns the next step. Every stage needs clear responsibility and accountability. Give every patient a designated owner. Define responsibilities between departments. Don't let everyone share. Establish handover processes, create accountability for missed opportunities, and measure individual and team performances. This is very important because there's many clinics out there where they share and they do each other's jobs, and sometimes the sales team is doing the follow-up, sometimes the coordinator is doing the follow-up, sometimes even the doctor himself is doing the follow-up. So you don't want to act like this. You don't want multiple people doing the WhatsApp or doing the email or anything like that. There needs to be a designated owner. Number 7 is to build a continuous operations and performance system. So operations should be managed through data rather than assumptions. The clinic needs to constantly identify where patients are leaking, understand why they're leaking, and make improvements based on what the numbers show. Track conversions at every pipeline stage. So for example, if you've got a pipeline and you've got, let's say, stage 1, stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, at every stage you need to measure the conversion rate of every stage to get the person to the surgery. So make response times and follow-up activity. Measure the response time. The reason you need to measure it is because you need to understand where people are falling off. If someone's falling off here, then you know why, okay? And analyze lost patient reasons. So if you lose patients, understand why you've lost them, and then you can make up for that in the next follow-ups. And review performance by team member and lead source. So look at who's dealing with the leads or the inquiries and where are they coming from. If they're coming from Instagram, that's going to be a different kind of lead to someone who comes through Google. And conduct regular pipeline and operational audits. So this is what we do. For example, we go into clinics and we look at their pipeline, we look at their operations, and we see where they are leaking clients, leaking patients, leaking surgeries, and then we help them improve that. So if you like this advice and you want to improve your hair clinic, hair transplant clinic, and you want to stop losing patients and getting more patients every month, whether it's 30, 40, 50, 100, 200, 1,000, these are some steps you need to take. And if you need more help, then book a call with me down below.